Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be taking a look at some simple steps how you can winterize your pressure washer, power washer, as the cold weather is upon us. And we're going to do this with just some simple tools, and let's go ahead and get started. So obviously you're going to need your hose, so go ahead and get that hooked up to your pressure washer as you normally would. And tighten the hose down to the water intake. And you can unravel your pressure washer hose and put that to the side for now. Next we're going to open up the fuel tank, and we're going to see how much fuel is actually in there. Now luckily for me, I'm pretty dry. I timed it well, so my last power wash I didn't add any extra, and that's important. If you do have a full tank, no problem, go ahead and put some fuel stabilizer in it. I'll put the link below for the products. In fact, all the products in the video you can find down below in the description. No matter how much fuel you have in it, make sure you do put some fuel stabilizer in it and go ahead and tighten it up. Next, we're going to turn on the hose to the water so we can actually have water coming through our hose into the pressure washer. And we're going to start the engine up and basically run all that fuel and the stabilizer that you just put in it through the system for a good several minutes. Alright, after 3 to 5 minutes, or when your fuel is extremely low and you feel like it's about to run out, you're going to want to hang out next to it and go ahead and slide off the air filter cover and remove the air filter. And you're going to take your can of oil, again link below for the specific oil that I like, and you're going to spray it into the intake right here. So in a minute when I press play again, you're going to see the oil go into the internal mechanisms. It's going to lubricate everything. There'll be quite a bit of smoke. Just keep spraying the oil into the intake. And as a result, the engine will just stop running automatically. And that's what you want. So from this point until next spring when you start it up again, we will not be starting the engine. It is considered lubricated with the oil, so it should be good for the winter. So we can go ahead and return or replace the air filter from earlier and cover that back up. With that behind us, we'll go ahead and check the oil. The next step, this oil is definitely spent. So I'm going to drain the oil, the old oil as shown here. And of course, be ultra careful, make sure you don't get any oil into the grass. And fill it back up with the appropriate amount of oil. Make sure you check your user manual to see what the capacity for your oil reservoir is. Now we can disconnect our water hose. We are done with this. I'm going to take a moment and visually inspect the little screen filter on the water intake. You can see it's a little rusty, so I'm going to replace that. And I'm going to unscrew the water pressure hose next and place that to the side because I want access to these two pipes, the water in and the water out line. So I'm going to drain it by tilting it down for just a minute. Give it a little shake. You don't want that water freezing in there, remember? Now my instruction manual calls for a little bit of antifreeze to be added to the water intake. So I'm going to tilt my power washer up as shown and add a little bit of antifreeze until you can see it kind of come to the top. Be really careful, by the way, if you have pets. Antifreeze is highly toxic. Okay, so with the antifreeze leveled kind of to the top of the water intake, I'm going to come around and I'm going to give the motor a couple of spins. You don't want the motor to turn on, remember, so make sure your choke is all the way off and just kind of give it a couple slow pulls of the string. So I've got one hand on the camera, the other is gently pulling the string several times. And what you're going to see is that antifreeze go down. Okay, and it's going into the water pump area, and it's going to coat all that internal part of the pump with antifreeze. I'm going to do it one more time. Not as much because I can already see it starting to come out of the pressure washer hose, or the water out tube right there. So just a couple more tugs with the string. You can see it go down and it starts to spill up out the other side a little bit. So I know we're good. And I'm going to remember to swap out the screen filter there with a new one. That's definitely easy to forget to do, so remember to replace that. So now we're going to move on to clearing the pressure washer hose. Remember, there's lots of water inside, so we're going to want to open up one end of it by go ahead and pressing the trigger and then using gravity to get all of the water out. You can just raise the pressure washer hose and kind of just tip all that water out of there and you'll see it. All right, we're almost done. We're going to be taking out the spark plug now. Just by removing the cap and taking a socket wrench, an ultra deep socket wrench, and just kind of unscrewing that spark plug for visual inspection. And I'm going to take my trusty can of spray oil and give it a couple hits on the inside there, as well as to the ends and the tip of the spark plug. And this keeps everything nice and lubricated and nice protective shield around all of these important parts that are going to be facing a very harsh winter. And we'll tighten up the spark plug and put the cap back on. And that's all there is to it. Pressure washer is winterized and fully ready to endure the cold winter temps. Hope this video is helpful.